Women over 40 are no longer needed.
When I got home, Robert said this to me with a sleazy grin. I quickly agreed to divorce him, but I'm not letting it end like this. I'll make sure he regrets this, right? My name is Emma, and I'm 44 years old. I have been married to Robert, who's 2 years older than me, for 20 years now. Even after getting married, I've continuously worked at the same place, and now I'm in a respectable position. With a family, why did I devote myself so much to work? The main reason is that we don't have kids. It's not that we didn't want them, we just couldn't have them. There were times I was down about it, but I had a fulfilling job. That's why we were able to continue our life as a couple without breaking down. However, recently, I have immersed myself in work because we don't have children. I don't mind working late or staying overnight. Why? Our marital relationship has gone cold, and I don't want to be home. Robert's in sales, so he's been using work as an excuse to be away more often. He often comes home in the early hours. Because of this, Robert and I no longer have the conversations or physical intimacy we used to. If someone said we were getting old, I would understand. But with Robert, his attitude has clearly changed. It happened just the other day. When I got back from working late, there were scattered food wrappers on the table. I hate it when trash is left out, so I pointed it out to Robert, who was lying down watching TV. Robert, I always tell you to clean up after you eat, don't I?
Yeah?
It's not just yeah. You always say that, but never do it.
Yeah.
Are you even listening? You're not really responding.
Yeah. This comedian is so hilarious.
Fine, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Good night. He completely ignored my good night. He used to always greet me, no matter how busy he was. I wonder what made him become so distant. Trying to talk to him only resulted in empty responses. It never felt like a real conversation. Living this Cold War with Robert, it's like we're just roommates now. Is there any meaning left in being with him? Sometimes I feel so down. Maybe I'm reaching my breaking point. Then, on one particular day, I surprisingly finished work on time without any overtime. I thought, maybe I can have dinner with Robert for once. So I went shopping and headed home. As I was cooking his favorite beef stew, Robert came home just in time. I greeted him with "Welcome home," but there was no response. His attitude frustrated me. But it's scary how you can get used to such things. I tried to shift my mood and spoke to him again. "I made your favorite beef stew tonight. Let's eat while it's hot."
Mm-hmm.
Can I serve it on a plate now? I also bought some baguette.
Yeah.
It'll be ready soon, so maybe take off your suit.
No, I don't want any.
Excuse me?
I ate out today.
Why wouldn't he say that from the start? If he ate outside, he should have informed me earlier. As I was fuming over his ambiguous answers, Robert broke the silence.
I think this is a good time. I have something to tell you.
Tell me. Now isn't the time.
I want a divorce.
What? The sudden divorce request left me frozen, still holding the pot. In response to my silence, he said again,
I said divorce. Did you hear?
I heard you, but are you serious?
Of course, I am. Who jokes about things like this?
I get it, but
fortunately, we don't have any kids. At this rate, I don't know what will become of my life. Being with you will just lead to a dull ending, right? I can't stand that idea.
Hey, what do you mean by that? Even you, Robert? Before I could vent my frustration, he cut me off.
To be honest, I don't need a woman past her 40s anymore.
What?
I said I don't need her, meaning she's useless and I don't want her around.
Are you serious? Who does he think he is? I might be past 40, but Robert's over 45 himself. In my growing anger, Robert smirked and said,
Anyway, I want a divorce from you. I plan to have a much more fun life from here on. You are just not part of that picture.
I had forgiven Robert's attitude countless times before. I genuinely believed that we got married out of love. But enough is enough. If he's going to say such things, I'll gladly get rid of this trash. With a smug look on his face, I firmly told him, "Well then, that's great. I'll leave right now."
Wait, what?
Seeing my prompt agreement, Robert was taken aback.
I'll start packing right away. Wait, Emma, why are you being so casual about this?
Why not? A divorce wouldn't bother me.
Huh?
There's absolutely no downside for me in getting a divorce.
That can't be true. Are you okay with people knowing you have been divorced?
Watching him get desperate, I couldn't help but chuckle.
What's so funny?
Just that I don't care what others think.
You don't care what others think, Emma?
After the divorce, I won't have to deal with you and your issues. No daily frustrations. We don't have kids or live with our parents, and I work too. So life won't be hard, right?
But
seemingly upset that I so easily accepted the idea of divorce, Robert frowned. I had one more thing to tell him. Plus, why wouldn't I want a divorce when I could get compensation?
What? Compensation? What are you talking about, Emma?
Am I saying something odd?
Just so you know, women don't just get compensation money because they're women.
I know that. Compensation isn't about being male or female. I am not that naive.
Then why?
This guy doesn't seem to realize it yet. That I have already spent a lot of money to uncover the truth. I smiled at him and said, "Well, I'll be back for the rest of my stuff."
Huh? Wait!
Oh, we can discuss the division of assets later, okay?
No, listen.
Don't worry, there's a motel near your office, and I'm thinking of moving into the apartment the company provides. So bye! Leaving those words behind, I immediately left the house. Robert looked unhappy, but I didn't care anymore. The best punishment is awaiting him after all. Later, I contacted my lawyer to process the compensation. A few days passed. Finishing work on time, I headed to Robert's house to pick up the remaining items. He arrived just as I did. The moment he saw me, he approached me angrily.
Hey, Emma, what's going on?
What? Keep your voice down.
You're the one who's ignoring my calls. I called many times and even sent you WhatsApp messages.
Why would I need to hear from someone I'm divorcing?
Emma, how can you say that?
With a smirk, I pointed out, "Oh, maybe you're wondering how I found out about your affair?"
You knew?
Of course. We have been married for 20 years. If you weren't going to say anything, I was thinking of divorcing you soon.
That's why you hired a lawyer so quickly? Who do you think you are?
Isn't it obvious? It's for the compensation. I have to get what's due to me. To that, Robert unexpectedly said,
I'll pay the compensation.
Really? You're more reasonable than I thought. With a sly grin, he confidently said,
You knew about my affair, but did you know she's a wealthy heiress?
I've heard something like that.
So paying you is no big deal for me. No harm done. And hiring that fancy lawyer of yours? Must have been tough, huh?
Interesting. From the way you speak, it seems you don't regret cheating at all.
Of course not. I just followed my desire. We have been together for 20 years. You should be thankful.
That was the moment I decided to take him down a notch. Had he shown genuine remorse or apologized even once, I might have reconsidered, but clearly he has no intention to. Well, I have some thoughts too. Well, I understand your feelings now. I'll submit the divorce papers tomorrow.
Great. I'll go to the bank tomorrow and transfer the compensation, $30,000, as your lawyer specified, okay?
All right, go ahead with that. And so our divorce was finalized. Being single again, I felt an immense sense of relief and freedom. I wished I had divorced him sooner. That's how liberated I felt. Once life had settled down, I decided to visit Betty, the woman Robert has been having an affair with. I found her address through a detective agency. Betty hailed from one of the town's prestigious families that had owned vast lands for generations. She too would eventually inherit a large portion of these lands. Perhaps she had already been informed by her lawyer, for when I met her, she immediately apologized. I'm so sorry for what happened. I shouldn't have. It's all right. I didn't mean to barge in on you, but I need to know. Was it true about you and Robert? Yes, but I didn't know. What? I didn't know Robert was married. He told me he had been divorced and had no kids. Betty, Robert's affair partner, had apparently been involved with him without knowing he was still married. As she spoke, the true extent of Robert's deception became clearer. I know there was an age difference, but I truly loved Robert. I never imagined he was married. We are divorced now, so don't worry too much about it. But it's because of our relationship that... Yes, the affair played a part in my decision to divorce, but it wasn't just that. I lost all affection for him because of his character. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm genuinely sorry. At the end, she said, looking straight at me, I'm going to start anew. 2 weeks later, just when I had almost forgotten about everything, Robert called. Annoyed with his persistence, I reluctantly answered. He instantly raised his voice.
Hey, what the hell is going on?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Why did you call me out of the blue?
It's not out of the blue. I can't reach Betty anymore.
Why are you asking me? Sounds like your problem.
She suddenly blocked my calls and even blocked me on WhatsApp right after I broke up with you. The timing is just too perfect.
So you decided to contact me about it?
I bet you had something to do with it. What did you do to her?
Do? I just met and talked with her, that's all.
You met and talked with her?
Yes. Is there a problem with that? I explained the situation and he fell silent. That's probably why she decided to move off. Too bad for you, being dumped so easily.
What am I supposed to do now?
Do about what?
I was planning to marry Betty and inherit her family's wealth. I even quit my job, thinking I wouldn't need to work anymore.
You quit your job? Seriously?
Of course. Why work when you're married to someone that wealthy? Everything was going according to my perfect plan, and now because of you, what a terrible woman you are.
Robert shouted at me over the phone, hurling insults like there was no tomorrow. Quitting his job just to be some mistress's sugar baby? I didn't think he was that foolish. Though I was disgusted, I decided to give him one last parting gift. You haven't changed a bit. Maybe you need another wake-up call.
What, Emma? What are you talking about?
I'll be reaching out to the husbands of the married woman you have been seeing behind Betty's back.
What?
You think I don't know? I'm fully aware of all your little escapades. It had come to light through a private investigator that Betty wasn't Robert's only affair. He had several others, both single and married women, totaling around 5. He met them at bars, clubs, and even dating apps. Being a former salesman, Robert had a knack for making connections in many places. But to think he was such a playboy? To the very end, he is beyond redemption. The fact I was once with a man like this gives me the creeps. So, expect compensation claims, not just from Betty, but from the other woman's spouses as well. Enjoy the mess you have created for yourself. Hearing this, Robert frantically responded,
Wait, why are you doing this?
Why? Did you seriously think a light punishment would be all you would get?
I
gave you a chance to reflect on your actions. You should be thanking me.
What kind of twisted logic is that? I've been regretful, you know.
Regretful? I couldn't hold back anymore. Do you realize how many people you have hurt because of your carelessness? Do you even understand the magnitude of your actions?
Calm down, Emma.
You lied, not just to married women, but also to single ones like Betty. What do you think marriage is, just a game? Are you out of your mind?
It's not like that.
What's different then? I have tolerated you for too long. I hope you're swamped with claims and suffer forever. Never show your face to me again, jerk.
Wait, Emma, listen.
Ignoring his desperate cries, I hung up and blocked all his contacts. That was the end of my ties with Robert. After that, he received compensation claims one after the other from the spouses of his mistresses. He ignored the payments, which eventually led to legal actions. Since he was at fault, he couldn't evade the charges. He had quit his job relying on Betty's wealth, so he didn't have a stable income. Rumor has it he borrowed money from various sources to pay the compensations, and now juggles multiple part-time jobs to pay back his debt. I don't pity him. He deserves the misery. As for me, I'm relishing my stress-free life. Working is as hectic as ever, but every day is rewarding and fulfilling. After looking after that hopeless man for 20 years, I believe a lot of good fortune awaits me.